Are you looking to find people? You're looking to attract them? You're looking to keep them? You're really serious about building an A-team? Then you need to join us for our podcast with Debbie and Joe from Korea Electric. And I'm going to tell you, they've done it. They've solved those issues. They've addressed them real time. Been there, done that. They're doing it. They've found people. They got people lined up for them. And their retention is through the roof. And they've built an amazing culture going from chaos to control. So I'll see you on the podcast. Talk to you soon.
Until right now, this very moment, contractors have always been on their own, not as tradespeople, but being alone and knowing how to take their business to the next level. They call us working class. They call us blue collar. They say that we don't have the smarts to become the business owner that we're meant to be. That is such bullshit. You have the ability. You're more than any of that. The question really is, where do you get the insights that you need specific to contracting to systemize your business so you can get your profits to pay for your freedom? I'm Andrew Houston. I'm going to show you how to make more profits, how to get more control, how to get more freedom in the simplest, quickest way possible without any of that bullshit. Welcome to the No Bullshit Podcast for Contractors. Listen up, level up, and if you learn something, like the video, subscribe to the channel, change your business, change your life. All right, we are live with another No Bullshit Podcast for Contractors, and I am extra stoked, excited today. I've got like three of my best friends on this call, and Rockstars. I've got I think it's to my right, I've got Debbie and Joe, who have been part of the Champion CEO family for a while. We're going to get down and dirty and real about hiring, how to attract, how to find, how to keep, and how to build an A-team. On the other side of me, I'll just say the other side of me, I've got Liam Meister, the machine. We're basically partners, but Liam specializes in sales. And funny enough, when you look at hiring people, when you look at landing people, it actually is a component of sales a lot of people don't even think about. So, welcome everybody, right? So let's get right to it, okay? So, how I want your opinion, Debbie and Joe and Liam, not on what you're experiencing yourself, Debbie and Joe, but how the industry is portraying finding and hiring top talent. So I think on my side, I see it as an epidemic. That's what we hear all the time from people that come into Prof for Contractors is, wanting to become champion CEOs. We know that that's not the case for you guys. So we're going to be talking about tactics and strategies that people listening to this can relate to and use. But what does it sound like out there for you? Like when you're hearing other contractors, are they struggling with hiring people, finding people, like typically?
Right now, yeah, we are. We're associate. There's not many trained electricians out there, and the youths are either they're coming on board uneducated, untrained. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to find good clients and good mm-hmm. talent mm-hmm. With the guys, and it's pretty hard. But if we have systems in place and we can train our own inside staff, then it helps, right?
Absolutely. Now, Liam, when you're hearing out there, in the world of contractors, how brutal is it for how big of a sore spot is hiring?
I think it comes into there's two camps of people from what I kind of see in here. So there's guys who that saying I say all the time, Andrew, right? It might not be your fault, right? That there's a hiring epidemic, but it's certainly your problem as a contractor, right? I think guys fall into two camps. Either they're a bit of a victim, right? Oh, no one wants to work, everyone's lazy, I'll never hire anybody good. But it's the same mindset, right, Debbie Joe? I can never raise my prices, I can never make money, I can never get good clients, I can never take time off. It's the exact same mindset. They're just focusing on a different thing. And then the other camp of guys are more like Joe. They're this is a big problem. It is hard to find good people, right? That the trades aren't being joined at the rate they once were. But, I'm going to try everything in my power, promote from within, train people, right? Try new strategies, go to social media. It's basically two camps. Either you acknowledge the problem and you're I'm going to try and figure it out, but I know it's a problem, or people just kind of throw their hands in the air and go, I'll never solve this problem. It's impossible. That's what I basically see.
And so, Debbie and Joe, you guys have had tremendous success it didn't start off that way. I remember when we first started, one of the biggest problems was, hey, we just lost one of our top guys. We're just about to lose another one of our guys. Now you've got people, lined up at your door, people that, are waiting for you guys that as you grow are saying, hey, when you have an available spot, keep me in mind. I mean, is that true?
That's
Very
absolutely
true. Very true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's been a challenge this year because, the growth we're growing, but not at the rate speed that we anticipated due to COVID. But that being said, when we have an opening, we have someone there to kind of say, hey, are you interested? So. Yeah.
And are we talking about somebody that's been, people that have been unemployed for the last 2 years? Or are we talking about people that are worthy of actually being hired?
We just hired someone, our PM in March. He was employed for over 20 years at the same location.
Wow.
Wasn't being appreciated, wasn't being challenged. And he was thinking about, he was constantly coming to us within the last year to 2 years. And when he knew there was a role that we were going to create, that we were in the process of creating, and he left. He's been with us for, since March, and he's challenged. He feels more appreciated. But yeah, definitely if it's the timing and people are willing to wait.
So, it's
we had to create a role.
What's that?
We had to create a role for him, but we did, and then it worked.
So let me get this straight. This person worked for a company for over 20 years. So he wasn't laid off, right? So 20 some years, probably had a lot of skill set. True?
True.
Mm-hmm. What was the attitude of this person?
Frustrated. Not being challenged, not being appreciated, just, and then you just didn't feel, that's pretty much it. And he knew that his talents weren't used to the capability of what it should have been used. And he wasn't really playing his role as a PM. He ended up being just on the tools, and he was fed up.
Yeah, he was fed up. So Liam, do you know what's going to start creeping up on what do you think is look at my screen. Look at my screen. What's that? What's this?
Yeah, I think I know what you're going to start talking about.
Oh, everybody, this is the title. Liam, read out. What does the title say?
I think it says how to steal your competitors' tradespeople ethically.
Oh, wait a second. What's the bottom say?
Warning. Either you get their top talent or they get yours.
Son of a bitch. Okay. That doesn't sound like what just happened, does it?
Exactly just what happened.
Did you do it ethically, though? Or did you go and were you manipulative?
No. I said, this is what we can offer. And his past employer was very upset and was trying to negotiate with him, you can't leave, and I don't care if you do anything. It got to the point that he even told this really good employee that I don't even care if I have nothing for you. You can sit in the office and do nothing. I'd rather just pay you, but I don't want you to leave my company. So how does that make you feel? So he's, even more or less appreciated. So we gave him a day, and we had said, listen, if you want to rethink, you rethink. We want you to be here 110%. Within the 24 hours, it's a big decision because he lost the truck, he lost the cell instantly. So then he told his past employer, which is very distasteful. He said, the employer part, he said, listen, I have to do this for myself. I have to do this for my family. At this point in my life, I want to change. And here's my 2 weeks notice. And I'm leaving. Very, very nicely. You know what he told him? You can leave now. And he stripped him of his truck, his phone instantly. An employee of over 20 years.
Hey, Liam, how many of let's just say the new champion CEOs, the new clients that come in to profit for contractors, how many of them, and this is no bullshit, how many of them, because you speak to a lot of them, how many of them are coming from a chaotic, environment in the sense that right now their business is in chaos. They're running around with their head cut off. They're a business owner and they're wearing way too many hats. They're working for too little.
The vast majority, yeah.
How many of them will tell you that I can't find any good people?
It's interesting because you get, again, like that camp of guys, right? But then you also get a camp of guys who have people, but then they claim that they can't get people to use systems or technology.
Yeah.
Right? They're like, oh, I got like all these guys, but like, man, like I got to be out there managing them. These are guys doing like $1, $2, $3 million in sales a year, right? Like I got to be out there on the site managing them, like, standing over them, right? I'm like, why aren't you using, company cam and fast field form? Like, I go through all the things, right? Oh, well, like, they don't want to use technology and, they don't like systems and we tried that. It's like, did you try it or did you just assume that they don't want to use it, right? Like it's crazy. Some guys like 15 people. And I'd be like, oh, cool. Like, why don't you, have like your PM, train the guys, right? Or like, have you kind of brought this up on your Monday morning meetings? Oh, we don't run any meetings. Oh, okay. Like,
no. Meetings are a waste of time, Liam.
Yeah, meetings are a waste of
right, guys? Monday morning meetings and all that is a waste of time.
Time and money, yeah.
What are you, nuts? You're crazy, right? So, I was told by this one person, really good friend of mine, starts with the letter M, 3-letter word, mum. You get the people you deserve, Andy. What? You get the people you deserve. Now I've heard that from other people as well, so maybe she got it someplace else. But as time, when I had my own automation business, I was like, come on, Mom, that's not fair. She's like, well, what's your environment like? What do you mean? Well, would you work for you? Well, I don't think so. Well, are the guys getting what they need when they do the jobs? Or what's it like for somebody when they go to do a job at your place? I'm like, it's a gong show.
Right.
So Debbie and Joe, let's get some tactics here. Okay. And we're going to break this down. I'm going to wrap this up in like 15, 20 minutes, but let's give some gold here. I want everybody to know that there's tactics. I'm not going to give you, look guys, there's reason why there's 130 some pages here because there's a lot to cover. We're not going to cover this on this podcast, but I'm going to let you know that I want you to leave this podcast with a couple things. One, hope. Okay. And if you want to get your hands on this book, Liam, what should they do?
A couple different ways you guys can get your hand on the book. So if you already follow us, you'll get some info on it over email or text. So just stay tuned for that. Or you get invited to like our pre-launch list. Otherwise, easiest thing, guys, just go to our Instagram page. So add it for Contractors or go to the Facebook group and just send us a message there. Or just drop a comment on this and we'll make sure you guys get it. But the easiest way is just to stay tuned because if you're listening to this, odds are we're already in the system and we'll let you guys know.
Perfect. Okay. So you have to do things differently. Okay. Everybody listening in. When my mom said you get what you deserve, it's not to say that, hey, I was a bad person. It was that, the environment that I had created was not an environment worthy of building an A team, attracting A players, and, being able to really leverage my team. So Debbie and Joe, you guys have actually done a lot of things. Okay. You came in, you've been part of this for 2018. You had impact on your team and as far as retaining your talent, and we're just going to crank through some of this stuff from attracting some of your talent. So let's give out some of the goals so that people listening in can go, holy fuck, this is not just some gimmick. This is the real deal. So let's start, and we'll go like rapid fire, okay? And I'll help facilitate this. All right. So we start off. Go back in time. Now we're back. Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the things was, and I'll sort of highlight it. You guys tell me if I'm full of shit or elaborate on it. Okay. Sort of Cole's Notes version. Start off. The level of communication with your guys was dismal. There was no whiteboards. Right. Now you're going to have, hey, Debbie, I'm pretty excited for you. Right. And you, Joe, you guys got this big screen TV that we talked about.
All digital.
Now it's going to be digital. So you had people leaving, and one of the reasons that they left was because they weren't, one of the reasons, tell me if I'm right, from 2018, they didn't know if there was enough work.
Correct.
They didn't see the future of the business.
Correct.
Right. Okay. Liam, being part of Pro for Contractors, how important is it for you to have a gauge on the future of where the company's going?
I mean, at the end of the day, like everybody wants to know like where they're going, right? Like within
Yes.
the company, and then like how that fits into where the company's going, right?
Right.
'Cause
Exactly.
you can know where you're going, but if you have no idea like where the business overall is going, you're still going to be confused.
Totally. Okay.
Right.
So we need to start with, instead of it being always about us, we have to think about the employees first. This is not 1920. It's not the frickin' 80s. Welcome to the world today. All right. We have to give more than we're expecting to get with that mindset. And trust me, you'll get, but you got to give. So,
100%.
yeah, exactly. So a couple of these guys,
Yeah.
actually left, and what was some of the comments that they had?
Well, they didn't know how much work we had, right? So, the way I did it is they came every morning and I gave them their job, their duties they had to do for the day, and that was it.
Yeah.
They didn't know where to go next day until they came to the office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just, yeah.
So,
And Debbie, who
Yeah.
was on the other side of the fence, the other employer,
Mm-hmm.
and what were they sharing?
Yeah. So one guy left and says, they told me they have 2 years worth of work. And so that assured this person that, you know what, that's a guarantee that I'm going to be steady. Whereas with us, and I had just come back, so things were we were kind of, restarting things up again. So I guess they felt like, they didn't see it, and I guess they lost hope that we could restart again, right? But not seeing the work. And then when we did it, so those people left, and the people that stayed behind, as soon as we put that whiteboard up, the one comment they said, "Wow, we have all that work," and not again. It's when you know something, when it's in your head, it's there, but you really have to extract that. And we knew, but they didn't. Even though we said, "Yeah, we got work," but until they visually see it, concrete, then they believe it.
but on the positive side of that, them leaving, it changed the mentality of the business because, believe it or not, they were the rotten apples of the team.
Mm-hmm. Joe, so let me ask you this. So first lesson learned, everybody, you need to communicate to your team, and not just any form of communication. You need to give them a pathway. You need to share with them where are they headed, and let's just start with where are they headed for the next week, the next 2 weeks, the next 3 weeks, the next month, so that they know that there's enough work, so they know that, hey, once I'm done this job, I can work on this job. It also opens up the lines of communication. Why does it open up the lines of communication, Liam?
Well, like with guys who are like wanting to grow and wanting to develop, right? Like at the end of the day, the thing that frustrates them most is, I believe it or not, is number one, like, not being communicated to and not getting like accountability and not getting responsibility, right? And like when you can communicate that clearly, like that we have all this work, right? Which means there's more accountability for you, more responsibility, right? It gets guys excited because that's what people crave at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
And I remember one wise man said once, A players want to play with an A team.
Yeah, totally. And do A jobs, right?
And the one nice thing about the whiteboard situation is that it actually keeps them accountable of their projects. So if some guys are on one job, they know the status. Was before, we just didn't communicate that until if it was done or if there's an issue. This way, they know the status, if the permit's been taken out, there's a log, and visually to see what's going on. So again, things that we didn't realize was going to make a difference. Because, let's face it, at the beginning was kind of, really? The whiteboard's going to make a difference? But it's like, wow, it made a huge difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know until you try because you never tried it.
Right. And by the way, let's be clear. Everybody, this is a tactic, not like all of them, but this is a tactic that you can fucking go down the Staples, go down, grab a bloody whiteboard. You're like, seriously, Andrew? I'm like, guys, simplicity sometimes has the greatest impact. Okay.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that you can't evolve it. Now, Debbie and Joe, and let's not get heavily into this, but just to say, now you're digitizing it. Now you're going to have a nice big screen. Now you're going to be able to turn it on, change channels, right? Whatever it means. Hey, we're going to review sales now. Now we're going to review the frickin' jobs come up. Now we're going to internally talk about the cash flow. Now, come on, right? Okay. So start off simple. Okay, but make sure you communicate. So what did we talk about here? You might think that, Andrew, you really talked about how to retain top talent. Yes, Yes, absolutely.
That's actually the hardest part. Like at the end of the day, if you find good people in today's market, keeping them is way more important than anything else, right? Because if you find a good guy, right, you lose them, you're back at square one, right?
That's the same as clients too, right, Liam?
I would argue, yeah, but I would argue like for people like Debbie and Joe, especially who are in like skilled trades, like if you're in electrical, plumbing, HVAC, etc., where there's like a minimum bar, like people have to pass and do, right? Like you better be focused on retention.
You have to invest in your employees, right? So you got to invest.
Yeah, totally.
So just like you're investing in your 100%. Company, invest in them.
You have to create the right environment too, right?
Yeah.
Like, let me see if this is going to work. Okay, everybody, just tell me if I broke the machine or not. Okay. What do you guys see?
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Joe, what's going on here?
Well, I did a nice barbecue. The boss made a barbecue. Instead of ordering it out, I made a barbecue for the whole team.
Mm-hmm. How important is that? It's just a barbecue.
Very much. They even said, Joe, you could have just ordered it. And I go, no.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like guys, at frickin' barbecue, whiteboards. We're talking about simple things. There's no excuses. Now, you might be saying, Andrew, what has that got to do with find and attract? Okay, let's talk about, we're actually going reverse just to let everybody know. We're actually going backwards, which is the way you should do it, okay? So when we talk about landing top talent, when a top talent comes in and they see that there's this environment of like friendship, of, you know, like the boss is no better than anybody else or greater than, he's cooking the sausages, he's like Friday reflection meeting. Like, look at that, right? I don't know, that sounds like a good title, man. Friday reflection meeting, cooking frickin' hot dogs, reflecting on the past week, okay? Back to communication. Imagine a prospect comes in, guys. Everybody listening in. Prospect comes into your business. Ask yourself this question and be brutally honest. What's their experience? Is it an experience that they want to repeat? Is it an experience that they want to stay at? Or is it an experience where it's like, this is bad, if not worse than the fucking place that I came from?
Yeah.
Ask them. If you walk into a shop, is it a gong show? Is there material all over the frickin' place? Or is it organized? Is there camaraderie? Is everybody laughing and joking? Or is it like, shut up, man, that's not my fucking job? Like, be honest with yourself. True, Debbie and Joe?
100%.
True.
I mean, would any of us want to... Go ahead, Joe.
We have potential employees come in and then you ask, look at you in the shop. And I take them a tour of the shop and you see the whiteboard. You see how the shelves are organized, the stock. And then you're like, okay, you guys got to, together, right?
Yeah, a lot of places are not.
Right? So
that's the whole point. So everybody, coming back to this, how to steal your competitors' tradespeople ethically. What are we talking about here? There are literally in your area, and I'm going to prove it here in T-minus 60 seconds. There are literally dozens, hundreds potentially, thousands of potential prospective new hires that are waiting to hear from you, waiting to hear about you, waiting to come and see you if you position it properly. What am I talking about? Because most of, 90%, and that's no exaggeration, I use that all the time because it's the truth. 90% of people that come to Profit for Contractors, okay, to help, get us to help them with their business, to turn them into champion CEOs. Debbie and Joe, were you guys in chaos?
Yes.
100%.
Right.
You lost.
Remember, there's a whole history.
Lost.
Yeah.
For how many years? 1 year? 5 years?
17.
Yeah.
So anybody listening in thinking that it's too late, is it too late, Debbie and Joe?
Never.
No. Like I said, if you put systems in place, of course, Profit for Contractors helped us with that, and it gives you a little bit of financial freedom.
It just gives you structure too. And you know what? It's not even that we still love doing what we did. It's just we needed a few key systems to bring it to the next level, to make it, we kept hitting that roof, So there's certain things that and you held us accountable, which is a big deal because, even though there was an issue in certain parts of the business, we have to look into that. Then you get busy with invoicing and dealing with clients, but you made us stop and look at everything and then found out where the holes were. And then we started, and like you said, slow down to speed up. Well, we've been speeding up. It's so fast. I can't even, I'm constantly running, which is fantastic, but it really makes a huge difference. But people always say, I don't have time to stop and audit what I do during the day and what
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't do during the day.
Back costing. I don't have time to do back costing.
Never do back
I'll do it at the end of the
costing,
month.
you know, as much as what we do now. So it's just things that you made. People have to understand, even though you're in a business, you have to take time out and have meetings and do things, because from that, you'll be able to go at another speed, another level of speed.
Look, I'm guilty. I did back costing maybe every 3 to 5 months, right? I do back costing as soon as the job's done.
Interesting. Actually, some of the jobs, Joe, you're doing back costing, right, while the job is going on, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Halfway through, we'll get our first draw. I do a back cost to see where we are.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. Let's just talk about culture and environment here in just a second. I said to you guys, or I somewhat lied. I said I'd let you guys know that there's dozens, hundreds of prospective people. So let me just nip that one. Go type in Yellow Pages or your prospective type of Yellow Pages. Type in, you know, if you're an electrical contractor, how many electrical contractors are in your area? Okay. The average number of employees that works for a contractor is in the range between 8 and 10. Okay. So think about this. If you've got the majority of the electrical contractors in your area, or whatever that trade is in your area, they're in chaos. If they haven't gotten somebody like Profit for Contractors to help them, they're still in chaos. And that means you have A players working in a chaotic environment. And trust me, A players do not want to work in a chaotic environment, because A players can't be at their potential being in that environment. And they will either do one of two things. They'll adapt to the doggers and become a dogger, or they'll quit and go someplace else. Or there's actually three. They'll start looking and looking and looking and looking. Okay? Because in the eyes of the employers, guys, or in the employees, for most employees of contracting businesses that I've talked to, they have the same opinion. The opinion that you have that there's no good, employees out there, that there's no team members that can follow you. On the employee side, they're like, there's no good contractors out there. They're all in fucking chaos, and none of them know how to run a business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey, I didn't steal. I have a new hire. He was in a third-year apprentice from a good company, electrical company. He needed a change. He was stuck doing the same thing over and over. That company didn't want to grow. They had their one little niche, and that was it. You know, he saw our ad, we have a good ad going on that Debbie created, and it captured him, and he came by, and it worked. And it's a good asset for our business.
No, it's interesting. You said a good ad. So let's just start wrapping this baby up. How important, Debbie and Joe, and Liam, I want your input on this. How important is your image on social media?
It has, from when we started with you, we didn't really have a social presence at all.
No.
And then when we started to make it a priority, we thought, again, is this really going to make a change? You know, again, it's always that thing of doing something new. Once we started doing it, I kid you not, everyone that called, how did you get our number? Oh, I Googled you. Then we do reviews. Then we have potential new hires. They see us on social media. And then all of a sudden they see who we are, how we treat our team. And that's it, how we treat our team. And even the ad, it's not like we're looking for an electrician apprentice. We are a family business. We treat our employees. We are a team. We're all in this together. And if you want to have a good time working together, then you're the right fit. If you're not, it is what it is. But I mean, you're just not another number. And I think we create that in our advertising for employment. And we advertise that in our website and even our social media through Instagram, through Facebook. People see who we are, what we do, and people love it. And people now have confidence that when they call us, we have been top rated 3 for the last several years. They want to deal with people who are honest, and sometimes we'll help clients over the phone, and we'll save them a service call just because we can. And they're like, wow, thank you so much. I said, listen, we're not here just to make, the almighty dollar. We're here to run a business. And at the end of the day, we want our clients to feel safe in their homes.
Yeah, we want to help educate
educate them.
potential clients.
Yeah.
We let someone give us a review. We didn't ask for a review. They said, thank you for James Electric for giving me advice over the phone. I look forward to working with James Electric in the future. You know what I mean?
He corrected the problem.
I could have made a service call out of it.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Love it. So let's start wrapping this baby up. So, Liam, what would you say is the top two last points that you'd like to make?
I think the big thing Debbie brought up is just you guys are going to be hiring most likely, if you're listening to this, right? And if you're Debbie and Joe, most likely you're going to be hiring someone. I'm going to assume between the ages, right, guys, of 20 and 35. That's the majority of who's you're hiring, right?
Yeah.
Those people spend all their time on social media. It's pretty simple. It's they're not reading newspapers. They're not, you know what I mean?
And
they're not looking at ads on bus stops.
I'd like to add a little bit of advice, which I never had before. You have to create a job description for a new hire. A must.
Totally.
So when you hire them, they know what the role is going to be when they come on board. Instead of just saying, I just need an electrician or a third-year apprentice. You know what I mean? You have to do a job description.
Totally. Debbie, what would you say?
Contractors.
I love it, Joe. Love it. Debbie, what would you say? What's your last words of wisdom?
Again, going back to it's never too late to restart. It's never too late to just restructure the company. We did. And it's never too late to take on new apps. Just because you run your company a certain way that's been from 10, 15 years ago, all these apps are new. We learned them, and now because we've made so many changes, it's exciting because we're open to everything newer, and then as far as going through COVID, if we hadn't made those changes just before, I don't know where we would have been. So that has made a huge impact. And then when the customer, and when our guys feel good, they made a plaque for us. Then you truly feel like you're in a family because we have to watch out for them. As we didn't have anyone that left us other than one person, which is fine. But through COVID, but everyone stayed on.
It's interesting. Look at the bottom of this post that you guys did, right? For those of you that can see it, if you can't see it, the bottom of this post, watch the video. You can see some of the results, some of the, bottom line results and some of the cultural impacts that have happened with JMC Electric through some of these posts. But look at the bottom. JMC Electric family.
Yeah.
Family.
That came from
right?
them.
They've made that poster. They made that. Our guys did that.
Wow. Okay. So here's my last little words of advice. Everybody listening in. Identify how, rate yourself. And if you want to get this little hiring audit so that it breaks down how you rate yourself, you got to know where you're at to know where it is that you're going to go, to know what you got to do to get there. Okay. And so whether it's on the find side, whether it's on the attract side, the land side, the keep side, there is a process and there's systems and there's an order in which you need to do things. Don't do it alone. Don't think that you can't learn it. You can, and don't think that it's ever too late. Okay, I love what you said, Joe and Debbie, about it's never too late. So look, that's it, guys. So this was another no bullshit podcast. Don't think that you can't get this. There's a ton of opportunity out there because there's a ton of chaotic contractors out there where their team members are looking to work for a great company. Make your company that great company and do what you got to do to make it great. We'll see you guys on the flip side. Ciao.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.
Hey, Rockstar, I hope you enjoyed that one. And if you did like this one, join our private Facebook group, Profitable Contractors Association. It's one of the biggest communities for contractors with over 10,000 members, where you get the latest insights to help you delegate, dominate, and deliver so you can take your contracting business to a whole nother level.